Hi there everybody, this is David, and ever since Beast of Reincarnation was first announced, I have been looking forward to it. It looks absolutely beautiful, and it was by Game Freak, the developers of Pokemon, and like the whole girl and her dog sort of thing gave me huge Secret of Evermore vibes, so I was stoked to play it and super happy when the company reached out to me and offered me an early review code. I gladly accepted it, and now that I've played through the game, I'm here to tell you about it, and that's totally worth a sub as you come and you join our party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So now let's go ahead and dive right on into what this game is all about. I'm going to start this review off by first saying that I don't really play games like this. In many ways, I'm still stuck in my ways. I mean, my first thought, whenever I first saw the game, was that it was going to be like Secret of Evermore from 1994. I didn't think of Nier, Dark Souls, Psycho, anything else like that. I thought of a girl and her dog going out and exploring in an overgrown post-apocalyptic landscape. The girl was fighting, the dog sniffing out treasure, doing like alchemy, or in this case, bloom abilities. Secret of Evermore was my frame of reference for this game, and that is what I went into it expecting. So, to say that I got something different than that is the understatement of the year. Whereas Pokemon games are pretty kid-friendly and they're easygoing, and Secret of Evermore is much more of like a top-down, traditional action RPG, Beast of Reincarnation is nothing like either of them. If I were to compare it to something, I would say that it's like a really, really pretty, beautiful Souls-like. But you're not fighting in a gothic castle against zombies and ghouls and skeletons. Instead, you're out in this open wilderness fighting against rogue machinery and golems. And it's no secret that I'm not really a fan of Souls-like games. I don't think that a game should be difficult just for the sake of being difficult. I think that games should be properly balanced. What a concept! And I also feel like we've moved on from that whole let's make this game as difficult as humanly possible so that people have to want more quarters into the arcade machine to win. That was the mentality of the 1980s, whenever I grew up. And I think that we've kind of moved on from that. So yeah, suffice to say, not really a fan of Souls games. That being said, this game does have 3 different difficulty modes. It has story, normal, and hard. And I knew from the email that I got, it kind of went over the game and everything, I knew from that email it was going to be on the hard side. So I went ahead and I played it in story mode, thinking, okay, in story mode, it'll be okay. It'll be much more akin to the difficulty of games that I'm used to. Maybe something much more aligned with the recent adventures of Elliot, or Visions of Mana, or something like that, but no. Instead, I died. And I died again, and I continued to die. So here is a warning from me to you. Do not just come into this game thinking, oh, it has story mode. This is going to be super easy, but no. This is still super hard. So now, with my warning of the difficulty level out of the way, let's actually get into the game itself. It's coming out for the PS5, the Xbox, as well as the PC, and it does feature either English or Japanese voice acting, and pretty much everything is voice acted, from the main storyline sequences to the flashbacks, and even the on-screen conversations between you and your little helper Bradley. You play as this girl, Emma, riding one of those Star Wars walker things. I don't really know what they're called. I've only seen Star Wars once whenever I was a little kid in the 1980s, and I never watched it again, so I remember there was a walker thing. So she's in something like that, whatever it's called, I really have no idea. Anyway, that thing acts as your home base. You can craft your weapons there, you can upgrade your skill trees, level up, all that kind of good stuff. And she's in there along with her little sister and her little puppy dog, Koo, which is the cutest name for a dog I've ever heard. The only name that's cuter is Kupo, my doggie's name. So Emma is a sealer, and she's born with the Blight, and the Blight lets her manipulate plant life. But as a plant, she kind of lacks memory and she lacks emotion, which makes other humans shun and fear her. And it actually kind of reminds me of another SNES game, Breath of Fire 2. Remember Spar, the grass man, and he had no emotions either? Yeah, I know. I keep on going back to the SNES. I'm old. Sue me. Anyway, Emma's job is to seal up these malefacts and absorb their blight into her own body, thereby removing all the blight from the land, and subsequently the source of all the blight, who of course is the Beast of Reincarnation. This is not an open world game, it's more of an open region sort of game. You can think something like Xenoblade, though I don't think that the regions here are as big as the regions in Xenoblade. They're a little bit smaller, but not too small or anything. The blight affects each region, eventually forming something called a Nushi, and her mission is to go to each of these regions and defeat the Nushi, destroy the blight, move on to the next region, and then finally defeat the Beast of Reincarnation. It's pretty straightforward stuff. So now let's talk about the combat. Like most Souls games, you'll be attacking with the R1 button, and then you'll be able to use finishers with the square button. You'll also be able to dodge and parry, and the more that you're able to parry perfectly, the more parry points you'll save up. And these parry points are how Ku does his attacks. Yeah, he'll help you out in combat normally. You can't really control him, it's just AI controlled. But if you do hit the triangle button, his special skill menu will pop up, which are essentially magical spells. They're called bloom skills. And then you can go ahead and use those points and blast the crap out of the enemies. So the more that you dodge, the more bloom points you get, the more of those bloom skills that you can use. However, once you do use the bloom skills, it's not just as straightforward as casting the spell and going on with your life. You have to go through a quick time event before the skill is successful. So some of his skills can heal you, some can break shields, some can buff and debuff. There's all sorts of different cool abilities to use, kind of like, alchemy in Secret of Evermore. And the more that you use his skills and the more that you level up, the more abilities that you will unlock. So far, so good, some pretty basic stuff. But what actually sets Beast of Reincarnation apart from the other games like this is Emma's ability to control plants. You can use the R2 button, and you'll grow like a vine in front of her, and she can use it as a bridge to get places. Or if you jump, but you hold down the jump button, her hair will go down to the floor, and it will keep on extending, and you go soaring up into the air. She can even shoot out a vine from her fingertips, kind of like Spider-Man, and then go soaring up into the treetops and all that kind of stuff, which does make exploration really different and a whole lot of fun. Speaking of exploration, there is no mini-map. However, there is a larger map, and that larger map does clearly indicate where you need to go. It indicates treasure chests or any other kind of points of interest. You can also leave pins and markers and things like that on the map, and then use your little guide to get to where you need to go. It's no secret that I love exploration in RPGs, and I did think that this was definitely the highlight of the game. But I've still got to say, it was all just kind of dragged down by the combat. There was lots of enemies blocking your attacks, you weren't able to use Ku's bloom abilities unless you're perfect with your perfect dodges at all times, and most annoyingly of all, having enemies out there that you can't even see, shooting arrows and guns at you from God knows where from across the map until you just randomly die. I cannot tell you how many times I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait, why am I getting hurt? What's going on? Why is my HP going down? What's going on? And then I die. And it's because some guy from 1,000 meters away is shooting an arrow at me and I don't even know where he is, and it's so annoying. I think that the most frustrating thing of all was wanting to like this game, liking the premise, liking the characters, liking the environments, liking the exploration, but just dreading all that combat. It just really dragged it down. There were so many times that I found myself wishing that there was an overhead viewpoint like Zelda or, Secret of Evermore, that I could actually see all the enemies on screen, that I could see that little bastard shooting his bow at me and I can go over and kick his ass, but I could never find him. He just killed me all the time. So I do guess that there is a reason why I don't play games like this. Maybe I'm just too old school for it, but again, this is my review, it's my opinion, and it's my personal experience with this game. So I'm not here to tell you, don't buy it, and I'm not here to tell you that it's bad. I'm just here to tell you that this game was personally not for me. Now, maybe if they included a patch to make it a little bit more user-friendly, then, I would love to experience the story, and I would love to see the exploration, and that would be one thing. But I just cannot deal with this ridiculously difficult combat, getting sniped from halfway across the map by enemies that I can't even see, and dying constantly even on story mode. So maybe if they change that, then I could give it a second chance and I could enjoy it. But as it stands, it's just too hard for its own good, which really is a shame, because it looks like there is a great game here. I just wish that it was more like it was in, 1994 with Secret of Evermore, than it is in 2026 with Beast of Reincarnation. But now we do want to hear from you. What do you think about this game? Are you going to be getting it? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, have a good day.